Hello guys, so we will be studying the lambda function. Lambda function is nothing but an inline function. It is also called as an anonymous function. The reason it is called as anonymous because it has no name. When we look into the syntax we will get to know, but the difference between the user defined function and the lambda function is that the user defined function must have a name, and it is written outside the main function, but the lambda functions are written inside the main function and they can easily capture the local variables present in the main function, and they are also called as anonymous function. Let's go through the syntax. First we will have to write the auto keyword. It is a type detection technique. Based on the initialization it will automatically decide the data type, so it is a, and then we have to write a greet. We can give any name here. I'm giving a greet. Then this is a capture clause. I'll explain what is capture clause in a bit. Then we have to enclose it with a semicolon inside, and inside the flower braces we have to write our logic. So this is what a lambda function syntax looks like. An auto keyword with a variable name like this, then there is a capture clause, then there is a curly brackets, and inside the braces we have to write our logic. And just like a normal function we can basically call this variable. So the major difference between a user defined function is that we are initializing the whole function to a variable, okay, this greet variable, and we can call this greet variable whenever we want, and the function doesn't have any name, you can see here. And this is what, and if I run this, see, you can see good morning. This is one normal way of writing a lambda function. We can also capture any variables present in the local variables. For example, let's say I have a int x is equals to 10, and I wish to change this, I wish to change the variable x. Okay, how do I do that? Using the lambda function we can do that. Change value, this is a variable name, then comes the capture clause, then after then this is actually a curly brackets. Inside curly brackets the arguments that we want to pass, and just like a normal function we can basically call this change value, and inside the braces we have to write our logic. But for that, let's say there is a x variable here, okay, x variable is there, and I want to change the value of that x variable. So using a reference value, reference is nothing but the address of that variable. So if I change the address of that variable inside this function, then it will also reflect that value that I have changed outside the function as well. Okay, so you can see the x value is initially 10, and if I call this function now and also print the value of x, okay, print the value of x, see, then the value becomes 100. If I run this program, see, it is coming as x because I'm accessing a variable using a reference value. I can do this same thing. Let's say I have a variable a is equals to 10, variable b is equals to 20, and I want to add these two variables, let's say, and I want to store that variable, whatever sum is coming, I want to store it in a variable z. So initially value of z will be 0. Okay, I can do this again using a lambda function. I will do add is equals to capture clauses. Here goes the arguments. Okay, so how do I do this? How do I add the two numbers? Basically what I do is copy the variable a, copy the variable b, value of that variable a, value of the variable b, like this. Okay, and if I do this, what is happening is I'm not basically using the reference value, I'm basically copying the values. Okay, I'm just copying variable a, copying variable b, and whatever changes I do here, okay, if I do a is equals to 20, it will not reflect Okay, it will not reflect outside the function. It says that expression must be modifiable value. That means if I do %, if I use a reference value, then I can do this, but without reference value I cannot change it. Okay, now what I will do is z is equals to a plus b, return z. See out, I can call this function, and if I run this function, you can see the z value was initially 0, now it is turned to 30 after adding. So this is what a lambda function is. Lambda function, I'll say one more time, it is an inline function. It is used inside the main function. It can easily capture the values in a same scope, or the local scope, and it is also called as anonymous function. It is basically used to perform simple expressions like addition, subtraction, etc. And we can also capture the values with reference like this, and without reference also we can capture. Basically it is copying the variable a and variable b like this. Thank you.